This is the How Design Live podcast, hosted by programming partner Ilise Benun, national speaker, author of 7 business books for creative professionals, and founder of marketing-mentor.com. Listen to her lively conversations with past and future How Design Live speakers about the business of creativity and creativity in business. Here's Ilise Benun.
Virtual reality and augmented reality are being used by agencies on the forefront to engage consumers on experiential journeys for better and more accurate consumer research. Toronto-based Chiquitani Lacroix is one of those agencies, and Jean-Pierre Lacroix will be sharing examples at How Design Live of how his firm is doing just that. But I was able to get a sneak preview of his fascinating session, getting into shoppers' heads with augmented reality, virtual reality, and neuroscience in our recent podcast interview, in which he shares some examples of the work that is transforming his design and branding consultancy into designers of immersive experiences. Listen and learn. Hello, JP. Welcome to the How Live podcast.
Yeah, thank you very much. Look forward to chatting with you.
Absolutely. So we're here because you are going to be one of the speakers at How Design Live in Chicago in 2017, and that's May 2nd through 6th. And your topic, I'm very excited about it because it's about the future. And I think everyone is always interested or should be interested in what's going to happen in the future. And it's called Getting into Shoppers' Heads with Augmented Reality, AR, Virtual Reality, VR, and Neuroscience. So tell us what this is and what it has to do with design.
Well, the exciting thing as creative individuals and designers, it's about making brands effectively connect with consumers. And historically, we've relied on conventional research to understand, how are these different iterations of designs impacting the way consumers perceive brands. And as we all know, all we have to do is look at your past US election to find out that polls and conventional research are really not a predicator of how consumers will actually act at that moment of purchase or that moment of decision. And neuroscience provides a new tool, not a replacement for existing tools, but a new tool to identify how consumers act emotionally and respond emotionally to stimuli, which brings to the VR and AR. The closer we can get as designers to reality, the closer we can actually build a store or develop a package where the consumer can hold it in their hands and feel it, the more accurate the reading will be on their likelihood to purchase this product. And in the past, we had to rely on mock-ups. In certain cases, we've actually built 2 or 3 different store designs and use ethnography research to validate them. Now we have virtual reality and augmented reality as effective tools to engage consumers on experiential journey or a physical journey without having to build a store. And it allows us, as you know, iterative options that we can develop quickly to gain input. And through the combination of both of these, virtual reality or augmented reality and neuroscience, we can actually get a better read on the true impact these environments and these packaging products or corporate identity or communication strategies impact the consumer.
Okay, so can you give an example, maybe even share work that you've done with one of your clients, and show us or tell us exactly how AR and VR is used?
We conducted a preliminary. First of all, we wanted to find out, does it work? Can we combine virtual reality and augmented reality which is cumbersome technology when you think about the glasses and the goggles, with neuroscience EEG headsets, which are, again, very intrusive somewhat cumbersome technology, can combine those two in a way that allows a consumer to feel comfortable in experiencing those environments. And so we did a test in November of last year as part of evaluating a new retail bank experience. And we tested the technologies, first of all, to find out if it was comfortable for the respondents to use and easy for them to navigate. And more importantly, are we getting the right readings? Are they feeling comfortable in providing input, both from a neuroscience and actually from an ethnography standpoint by viewing the branch experience? And we're now doing a follow-up study in China in end of January, where we're going to be taking it to phase 2, where we're going to be interviewing. We're going to be taking consumers into a closed environment where we're going to have them evaluate a virtual experience of a branch. And then we're going to actually, using EEG technology and virtual reality technology, plus conventional one-on-one focus group interview process, research process, we're then going to take them in the actual prototype branch and see if there is correlation and consistency between how they reacted to the virtual environment and how they reacted to the physical environment. And this will be the first time this type of research has been done that we're aware of in the world. There's been a lot of neuro research done. There's been a lot of virtual reality research done, but there has never been the combination of both. And so we're very excited about this, which leads me to what did we learn when we did this study? Well, what we learned was, number one, is that respondents definitely have to feel comfortable in spatial navigation. In other words, consumers who have motion sickness are not the right candidates to do this type of research. So it does narrow the type of respondent we can go after or attract. What we found out is that how consumers react to the physical space, some of the challenges they would have in a physical space do represent themselves from an emotional standpoint in the virtual space. So things like sight lines, obstacles to doing their job, in other words, going to the service counter or engaging with a sales advisor or a teller. These are the same kind of dynamics we've seen using ethnography research in live banks as we've seen in the neuro research. And so we're seeing a lot of great correlation that we're going to further validate at the end of this month. But the key insight was that the combination of VR and AR and neuroscience does work from the standpoint of making it comfortable for the customers, the respondents, to experience. But we need to be very cautious of the comfort level people have in spatial environments that are virtual and motion sickness.
Interesting. So you're using these tools in addition to or instead of focus groups and other more traditional research in your design process? Not exclusive. I don't believe that neuroscience alone will provide an accurate, view of how respondents react, because you've got obviously the emotional side of the equation, but you also have the cognitive and functional side of the equation. So how do consumers' response navigate in the space, the cognitive, how that becomes part of their habitual experience? How does it answer functional needs, safety, security? These are all important dimensions on top of how that environment talks to their emotional needs, sense of discovery, sense of confidence, sense of empowerment, sense of delight. And we see that it's a combination of ethnography research, conventional focus group methodology, in addition to neuroscience, do we get a real clear picture of how that experience, that iteration of that experience, or the numerous different iterations of those experiences react and influence the customer's attitudes and perceptions. And so does this require your firm to buy a lot of equipment, or do you partner with another type of research firm that specializes in this?
Yes, there are very few firms that provide this service. There's True Impact that we partnered in doing this study. And there's also a research firm in the U.S., Emotive Science, if I'm not mistaken, an ex-Pepsi executive that provides a service. There's also a platform called Evoke. And Evoke is a cloud-based neuroscience. It's a disruptive new form of research, and this is the technology we'll be using in China. We'll be using a cloud-based neuro research platform where a group of neuroscience will be providing the analytical response to the stimuli.
And what about artificial intelligence? Is that part of this, or is that something else? And are you working with that?
We're not working with artificial intelligence. There's been a lot of interest by corporations to basically automate and leverage the data that they're collecting. If you think of Apple's Siri, that's artificial intelligence. When you get into your car with Apple, my iPhone, it will now tell me, it knows that I travel from point A to point B around 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the evening. It knows typically where I'm going to go, and it will tell me the time it takes me to get there before I even ask them. So artificial intelligence is a great tool from a predictive customization, leveraging big data. But as designers, our role is not to create that artificial intelligence, is to understand how the advancement of that technology will impact how people make buying decisions. And so you're going to see, the iteration of marketing will be, how do we control or influence not the consumer, but the artificial intelligence within that technology, which will then influence the consumer. And smart brains will be really exploring the connection between artificial intelligence and the way you influence purchase decision. And we'll see a huge development. If I were WPP or Omnicom, I would be spending a lot of money and time thinking about that, because that will be the future of how people market themselves. But as it relates to Jean-Pierre Lacroix and our work, we're really focused on the visualization of the future and how that connects emotionally to the purchase drivers of consumers.
And I neglected to ask you to introduce yourself. So do that now. And I know that there's a phrase that you use in your elevator pitch, if you will, that I wanted you to explain a little bit about also these designing immersive purchase moments. So if you don't mind, go back a little and tell us who you are and what you do and what all that is.
Okay, so my name is Jean-Pierre Lacroix. I'm president of a global design firm called Jean-Pierre Lacroix. And we operate and do work in about 28 different countries around the world. And we specialize in designing immersive experiences that connect in the blink of the eye. And we coined a phrase, and we pioneered this. We coined a phrase 27 years ago. That's how long our company's been in business, called the blink factor. And then it was about making an instant connection between the consumer and the brand, and what were the factors that created those connections, which was color and shape, and the importance of emotion. And that was 27 years ago, before designers even realized that there was an emotional connection between a brand and consumer. And what were those cues? We've now evolved that. Immersive isn't just about technology. It's not just about AR, VR, and experiential design. Immersive is about the relationship between the consumer and the brand. It's the fact that today, if brands are going to succeed, they have to build deeper and deeper emotional connections with consumers. We did a study 3 years ago called Restore, which you can download from our website. And we asked a question. And the question was, who is winning the emotional connection with the consumer? Is it online retail stores or is it the physical stores? And what we found out in this study, which was groundbreaking, is that, believe it or not, online retail experiences like Amazon and eBay had stronger emotional connections with consumers than the actual physical stores. Hard to believe that shopping Amazon had a higher emotional connection with consumers than going to a Best Buy store. And what we found out when we peeled the onion is that online provides a huge sense of discovery that traditional retail stores at the time did not. And that premise, I believe, drove a lot of retailers to rethink their brand and experience. So for us, immersive experience is not just about technology. It's about creating those deep emotional connections with consumers and understanding how that moment of purchase, that the blink factor, that split second when they make their buying decision, either driving down the road to look for a fast food chain or in a store looking for a specific product, how can those deep emotional connections drive that purchase decision towards the given brand we're working on?
And one of the things that I've noticed a lot about how the role of the designer is evolving, whether it's about these immersive experiences that you're talking about or branding or working with retailers, is that it's more than design thinking. And you have talked about this idea of being design collaborators. Connect that to what we're talking about and tell us more about that.
Yeah. Well, thank you. The design thinkers, design thinking definition, I think started, close to 20 years ago. I know that as the president of RGD, Registered Graphic Designers of Ontario, I launched the first Design Thinkers Conference close to 20 years ago. And we've since then have repeated that event to great success. And so it's been around for quite a while. And design thinkers is all about applying the principles of design and creativity to business problem solving. And P&G and Unilever have embraced that mentality and approach to solve business problems through creativity. And although it remains of great value to organizations to leverage design thinking, and not all companies are leveraging that philosophy, the next iteration is design collaboration. And why I say design collaboration? Because when you look at organizations today and you look at their weakness is predicated on their ability to not be disruptive. Their weakness is their ability to respond quickly to market dynamics, their ability to bring meaningful and effective innovation to the marketplace. And what you discover is that organizations' internal structures actually work at odds in them succeeding in delivering that innovation and responding to disruptive changes in the marketplace. And what design collaboration is all about is applying what we as designers have in our DNA. And what we have in our DNA is the ability of working across different disciplines with suppliers and partners and clients and consumers in delivering innovation for our clients. And it's that process of collaboration that I believe has the greatest value of overcoming some of the pitfalls and challenges companies have today to succeed and grow. And so to me, design thinking, the evolution is design collaboration. And it's bringing that multidisciplinary approach and mindset to corporate America.
So when you hire young designers, what skills and talents are you looking for to see or know if they can be good design collaborators?
Well, it really starts with an attitude. The eras of prima donnas in the design industry are long gone. we all have to learn how to play together. And so hiring a designer who is highly creative but prima donna would not sit well in our company. And the odds are that person, no matter how creative they are, would not get hired. We're looking for individuals who can work in a team environment, build on other people's ideas, and provide fresh new ideas to business problems. We're looking for individuals, I call them sponges, who are hungry for knowledge, who don't feel they've solved all, that they've got the answer for every problem, that are hungry to look at challenges and issues from different perspectives, and can bring a fresh approach to design solutions. And so that's the kind of candidate we're looking for. People with the right attitude first. We can always train individuals on capability. That's what schools do a great job of doing. Obviously, we do it here through our Think Blank training program we do with new recruits. And it's something that is teachable. What's not teachable is the attitude. And that's what we look for.
So here's my last question for you, JP, trying to pull some of these ideas together and actually connect it to one of our How Design Live at SCAD presentations that's coming up soon with Mona Patel from Motivate Design, and it's called Design as the Last Human Profession, Can a Robot Design? So my question to you is, do you think a robot can design?
Yep, absolutely. Remember that I started an era where typesetters controlled a lot of what we did as designers. They're the control mechanism that we had to bow to in order to get the right galleys from them in the right time so that we can do the conventional wax-based paste stuff. They're no longer in existence. The technology, the Apple computer, and digital fonts have replaced typesetters in 5 years. And we're going to see the same in what I'll call the commoditized spectrum of design. We're seeing it now with different software programs where a lot of the production, the artwork, the application of templated design to multiple die lines will be automated. It is inevitable that and you need to look at things that do not bring value to an organization will be automated. You can call it robotized. I'll just call it automated through technology. What will not be automated is creativity. Yes, they've indicated that AI technology now can write music, but that spark, the spark that solves a business problem isn't derived from technology. It's derived from people's perspectives, both cultural, historical, the way you're brought up, the way you look at life. Those are things that computers will not replace. These are not what automation can do. Automation and robotics are great at repetitive events. So you look at the automotive industry, it makes sense that a robot can repeat the task over and over again without being tired, is not impacted by the night before whose team was winning or losing at the football game. I can't say the same as it comes to creative thinking, problem solving. There's an element of our brain that allows us to do that I cannot see automation do it and technology replace it.
And it would seem to me also then that the attitude that you're talking about when you're looking for new designers and being a sponge and reading and gathering information and attending big conferences to learn about what's happening in the future, that all of that could contribute to becoming a designer more valuable than, something in the future that would automate the process.
Absolutely. I don't think technology can allow you to create the future. It'll allow you to automate it and find efficiencies once it's created. We don't see the technology and even artificial intelligence being able to provide that. Remember, artificial intelligence is based on learning, repeated learning It's not based on creativity. It's a pattern. Artificial intelligence is about pattern recognition and repetition. And creativity is not about, it is about pattern recognition, but it's not about repetition.
Excellent. All right. Thank you, JP. Tell the listeners where they can find more information about you and what you're doing.
You can go to our website at www.sld.com. There's a breadth of white papers and thought leadership documents that they would find of great interest. We also can follow us on Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook. All this can be found on our website.
Yes, and we will put the links in the show notes also. Thank you so much, JP. I appreciate you sharing what you're doing, and we will see you in Chicago in May.
Please, thank you very much. Yes, the same. Look forward to it. Take care now.
In today's fast-paced economy, you simply cannot afford to be behind the times. So as one of the programming partners of How Design Live, my goal is to bring designers who are using the most innovative strategies and techniques to you at How Design Live this year in Chicago so you can stay ahead of the curve. That's why I hope to see you there May 2nd through 6th, 2017. And as Debbie Millman said, it will be epic. You can also find more of my podcasts at marketingmentorpodcast.com and howdesign.com. Thanks for listening. I'll be back again soon with more conversations about the business of creativity and creativity in business.
You've been listening to the How Design Live podcast with Ilise Benun, the programming partner for How Design Live. You can subscribe to this podcast in the iTunes Store or on SoundCloud. We hope you found it both inspiring and practical, like everything How Live. And we hope to see you at the next How Design Live, May 2nd through 6th, 2017 in Chicago. Get all the details at www.howdesignlive.com.